Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Our continuing series on Hollywood Animal. I do have a confession to make. So I had recorded this episode, and during my edit, I realized that things weren't quite right with the video. So I have reshot this episode. However, in some house cleaning, one of the things I usually do is to save the game on top of the old save. And in doing so, kind of ruined the consistency here. Now, I was able to get another previous save loaded and played up through to about where we were when we left off on the last episode. We had won a Pollux Award, and we had Flat Bottom that had been released, and we've got some movies in post-production, one in getting ready for distribution, one that was just released, which I don't think in the previous episode we got to. Also 3 movies now in production, but I don't have anything in pre-production like we had before, and I don't have anything being written either. The other thing is my balance, I think, is probably a little bit lower than it was from the previous episode. So I do apologize for the inconsistency with episode to episode, but what I'm hoping to do here is to get back into where we've got the flow going, the production line of movies going from script being written to pre-production, production, post, so on and so forth. I may have let a couple of folks go as well. So most of the other components to the game, I still have my loan. I didn't pay that off. I wasn't able to pay that off or anything like that. We haven't built the electrical plant yet. So ideally, I'd like to get to that. I don't know that we're going to, but ideally, I'd like to get to that this episode so that we can kind of see if we're going to save any money and then also get some more movies going. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. We're extending the release, if you remember, of Flat Bottom. We're renting some screens here because with the way the movies came out, I had to rent screens for Flat Bottom, which I know in the last episode I didn't have to do, but in this one, because of the replay through, I had to do that. So we can see, though, with the rental of those screens, we did make, even though we paid for those screens, we did make a little bit of money here. We're probably going to run that through the end. We got 100% attendance on this particular movie here, so we're going to be pretty good on that one. And let's see if we got anything for our writers to write. We've got an adventure, so we're going to get the adventure writer on that. 3 dramas. We don't have any drama writers. We're going to close that off. We could go to the freelancers, right? Remember, we've got that freelance writers. Let's see, drama. Let's see if we have anybody that might be good enough to write a drama for us. And it's not looking good. Yeah, so we don't have any drama writers that are decent enough. I mean, he's a 2.7, but he's going to charge $14,000. This one doesn't like detective, and that's the second element to the story. So that wouldn't be a good idea. Well, at this point, I think what we're going to do is do this. We may go ahead and get this one started since this is a high enough in pre-production. We've got him left for another 750 days. Let's get to the big sound stage. And we'll get all these set up. Needless to say, with that housekeeping thing, I've learned my lesson. And the other thing is that in this playthrough, there was a new technology for sound that was brought out. The quality is a little higher and the cost is a little higher. That's what we're going to do there. We're going to use that new one. Everything else should be pretty much the same as it was when we left off. He's got 3 movies left. He's got 1. All right, so we're going to get that one into pre-production. So now we've got the writer writing one in pre-production. And yeah, so again, Some of the playthrough didn't get me to where I needed to be, so we have the script doctor now, and I don't remember what we chose the last. I think it was sequels. Wasn't sequels. I'm gonna go with that one this time. So if you'll remember, we probably had this on the last. If not, this was the episode part of what got cut. So we'll see what happens here. I'm going to see if I can outsource this. Not really. So we're going to do nothing for now. I think what we're going to do is I know what happens if we don't do this. I'm going to offer him some money and no charges filed. We're going to get goodwill points. Yeah, so Flat Bottom continues to make us money. We did drop our screenings, but we're still at 100% attendance now, and we're still making some profit on this movie. We may extend the run on that one even longer. This one did drop a little bit. We did drop screenings, but we do have 95% attendance still on this one. And in another week, we're going to have another movie that's going to be ready to come out. We're going to release this one. So we're going to have 3 movies basically in theaters at this point. Got a 3-star there. We got a 3-star there. Bone Grinder, obviously, with a 1. Not surprising. Everybody else likes it. They don't. So that was a pretty good post-production and distribution, getting it set up. So pretty well received. Let's see if it means anything. Okay, this is Don't Start Without Me. This is the one that was in the theaters, and just our theaters, and we only had 40%. We did make profit on this movie. I think we're going to end this one. I don't know that we're going to get a whole lot more out of that one. We do get the reputation for it. Yeah, and we're still continuing to hold 100% audience for Flat Bottom. I think we're probably going to extend this maybe for another month. Yeah, we're still at 100%. So I'm going to set up some distribution here. We're going to rent 350 screens, and then we're going to use the rest of our theaters for the rest of this run. And this actually was a pretty good run for this movie. Now, at this point, though, I can't extend the ads, but the ads, I think at this point, probably don't mean much. We're only getting 75% from the ads, so I don't think we're going to continue to let that one run. We don't have anything on that one yet. 10 days before this one's ready to go towards distribution. One of our employees has come back from vacation. A couple of weeks for this one. Okay, so our first week for this Ring from My Skull, this was higher rated than even Flat Bottom was, I think. No, Flat Bottom was a little higher than this. But we've got 100% attendance here, so that's good. Don't have anything yet from Flat Bottom's next run. Okay, so here's the blank movie. And we went from a 7 to a 6.6. So unfortunately, we dropped a little bit on that one, and we dropped on that one as well. And a couple of folks maxed out. The director and the editor maxed out. Go ahead and select that poster. Start it here. We won't drop as many off the third week as we normally do. We'll kind of see what that means to us, whether we end up with really low attendance in that third week. or whether we can hold the attendance. It is a pretty good movie. We're going to put the ads to the end in case we want to extend it. We can. We don't have any numbers in from Flat Bottom. Okay, there they go. All right, so out of the 351 screenings that we did, 75% audience that attendance, that's still not bad. We did end up making a little bit of money there. You can see this thing is going to probably get close to $500,000. This one here dropped off a little bit in the second week. Could have probably taken this down to a little bit further and we would have kept that attendance. But we're already making profit on that movie in the second week. So that's a good thing. Get the editor going on this one. Now that we have him available. So that we can get this one ready. This one's getting ready to go to post. So we've got another one that's just about ready there. Let's talk to this guy since he only wants 20,000. And he's an 8.9. 25,000 with the discount for 3 movies is a bargain. We're going to do that. Sheriff Must Intervene just finished filming. And we didn't do anything with the 7 and a 6.6. We took it up to a 6.8. So this should be a really good movie. Hopefully we don't screw it up in post. So the director maxed out. Everybody else got a little bit of a experience bump. Cast and crew was happy on set. And we're going to be waiting for an editor again. Don't think there's been one that's been available. Yeah, there's nothing higher than what we currently have in-house for that. Composer's going to be the same way. So that one's going to be waiting, unfortunately, for 60 days. Yeah, so we did drop here on this one with the addition, with the screenings having dropped. We did drop significantly on the attendance, unfortunately. We are still the second ranked movie at the movie theaters right now, and we're clearly making profit with this movie. And then Flat Bottom. Okay, so we went from 75 when we had 351 screenings to an 80%. So just that little bit of drop of screenings. And this is all of our own screenings, by the way. We didn't have to rent any here. Still the number 3 movie in theaters right now. 80%, still not bad. I think at this point, though, we're going to finish up Flat Bottom. 36%, so a third of 2,000 screenings, basically 2,000 screenings, 100, about 600 screening, a little more than 600 screenings. I think we're going to end this one, I think. I don't see any reason to keep this one around for another month. It was, it was profitable. So we've got Flat Bottom running for a couple more weeks. And then we still have, so here's the end of Flat Bottom. And we went up again. So I think we're going to extend some distribution here on these, on this movie, just because of the fact that we're still getting some attendance, that we're still basically packing the theaters that we're still showing it in. So we're going to continue this run for a little bit longer. And the reason for that is we don't have anything ready to go into theaters. Okay, so we're going to get, this one's going to be ready to start. Let's see where we're at with it. So we took this from a 6.4 down to a 6.3. So we didn't drop that bad. And from a 6.9 down to a 6.0. So we did drop that one almost a whole point, unfortunately. So that one did drop considerably. And we missed on several. And that's why. So, unfortunate. And once again, we almost have our flow going again. I don't know if this guy's worth it or not. He's only a 4.4. Not for 40,000. So I'm out with him. And Flower Monster went from 7, stayed, and from a 4.8 we took it up to a 5.0. So that's not too bad. And you can kind of see now we're starting to get movies and produce movies, make movies that are more in that 6 and 7 range on both of the scores now. So that's going to help us when we go to distribute those movies. It's going to really help us out. All right, so I'm going to need that one on hold. This one gets done. Yet on. And we have a new script. Yeah, 3.9 and a 3.1. I think. Yeah, so remember when we got Flat Bottom at the end, Coleman Graves had agreed to review any of our scripts if we wanted him to review any of them. And so he's willing to review and analyze this script to potentially make it better. Now, he was a 7.0 writer across the board. Problem with that is that I need to pay him in cash, and this is the cash that I need to pay him with, and I don't have enough cash to pay him to review this script and potentially get it to be, maybe a 4 or a 5. So I don't have the cash to do that. Well, and what I may do at some point here is research a little bit of that. I think what I'm going to do first is send this to the script doctor. Our balance is over $1 million again. It is going to cost us some influence points in 30 days, but we're going to see if we can get that up to maybe a 6. District Attorney Richard Stripes announced his resignation at the opening of the new Maple Avenue School for Orphans. Quote, I feel like I've done everything that was asked of me and then some, like raising money for this wonderful school. Going forward, I'm planning on continuing my charity work and seeing the world. And so we're going to lose him now as a friend. Friendship is over, no longer a friend because he lost his job. So our friends look like this. We still have the Mafia family, and I could do this to withdraw some money from the studio account as cash. So that would put some money over into my cash account. The police chief and the bootlegger are our friends still. Let's do this. All right. So we've got protection from police raids for another 180 days. And we could have him search for blackmail. No, we can't because we don't have enough goodwill points. So we could get some goodwill points by doing favors for him, like casino advertising, for instance. This would give us an additional 30 points. Problem is we would need an actress to do this or an actor to do that, to appear in those ads. So, and it might be difficult to get an actor or an actress to do that without paying them significantly to do that. All right, we have a detective story. Let's have the action writer write that detective story, yes. And we don't have any scripts that are worth purchasing at this point. Those are all high-priced scripts that... So I think what we're going to do... write a new adventure romance. More on the adventure on a tropical island. Let's see. I think we have a couple of women that are probably could do, but let's do this. And then maybe a damsel in distress or a love interest. And I'm going to have So in my additional playthrough, there was another story element when we went and did all of this. We got a bunch of story elements. One of the elements was nudity this time around instead of what we had before. And I don't remember what the one was that we had before. And then winning the beloved. And the finale is going to be the protagonist finds the treasure. We need our adventure writer, who's our best writer, writing that. All right, we got one day here, shootout. He has established himself as shootout theme and vivid violence theme, which we realized due to the hack that we're not going to be able to do any of those movies. That element's not going to be in our movies. Okay, 3 and 4 stars from Bone Grinder. This is not a bad movie. This is a B, not a B minus. Nobody, the director was, I think it looks like he might have been maxed out before. So, spent more than $500,000 on this movie. And okay, flat bottom. Okay, we've got 0 attendance. We're going to end distribution with this. There's no point in extending this any further. We're not getting any audience at this point. So we're going to end distribution. That almost looked like a bug because it said we were the top movie for that week for some reason. But it did make us almost $500,000. Okay. And we're going to talk to this guy because he's a 7-1 and he looks like he's dirt cheap. Yeah, $39,000 for 3 movies. Cinematographer, we're going to need a 7.3 cinematographer, so we'll take him. A 5.7 actor for $69,000 for the year. No thanks, because he's going to want more per movie. And Sand in My Eyes has finished filming. We're going to be backed up here in post-production here for a little while. Okay, so it is definitely a 6.0 movie across the board. Okay, so we don't have an editor. I had her in film school. To be honest with you, I don't know what happened. So let's do this. Don't have her or any in film school. So let's get these 2 guys in film school. Let's try to raise her by 2 stars. Would put her at over a 6. And this editor, we're going to try to raise him by a star. That would put him at just under a 5. We've got all kinds of films lined up here. First week, typically, we're going to see that 100%, and we do with this one. So we're going to see how the next couple weeks play out with that one. We got the script doctor that's going to be done in 8 days on our script that we sent to the script doctor. We don't have anything in pre-production at this point. Audience analytics. Do post-release competitor actors. Let's do this. You know what? Let's not spend money on it, but let's get this one going. Get that one sped up a little bit. Get that one researched a little bit. We didn't speed it up. We did drop a little bit, but not terribly, considering we didn't really drop as many screenings as we normally do. See how that one goes. We've got another 9 days before we can get the next movie. So the script doctor was once again unsuccessful in doing anything with this script. So I think what we're going to do, probably have enough low-level people to... He's got 1 movie left. Probably have enough low-level people to get this one started and get it filming. going to give just enough crew and medium props on this one. It's a low-level film. He's a 4.0, so we're going to use him. He's a 4.0. We're going to use him. 5.47. Save all of our higher level people for perhaps a different film. All right, so we really dropped off on audience here, and we may not make money if we don't extend this run of this movie. So that's rather unfortunate, because we're going to have to extend it because we are not going to have a movie ready for theater showings for at least probably a month. And it went from a 5.6 down to a 5.2 and a 5.0 to a 4.7. And let's try that movie poster. Come out on Thanksgiving. And not a very good movie, unfortunately, so I'm not going to use a whole lot of my theaters after the first week. Even though we're not going to have a movie ready. Another movie ready. Okay, 31% of 2,000 showings. So, we're going to set up distribution again. So we're going to go 600... 500, 350, and 200. We are going to extend it. I think we'll extend ads for half. Maybe it will retain some interest out there. Let's get our editor. Those are, yeah, we're 50 days out, 54 days out from that getting to theaters or to the distribution point. We've got another 35 days for this one to get to theaters. So that's the reason why I had to extend this one. All right, so we picked up, realistically, I probably could have gone with about 350 screenings there on that one. But I think at this point now, that movie is going to be profitable. We still have a loan that we have to pay off, but I don't believe it's until 1937, if memory serves. Yes, January 19th of 1937. So ideally, what we're going to want is probably a couple of million in the bank before we do that. William Gardner is concerned that the protagonist's death makes the ending too dark. The producer wants the protagonist aunt to whisper at the end, "In my heart, I know that boy is more alive than any of us." The director thinks it's too pathetic. The only option really here is to let's work on the script so the producer's idea actually works. And that's going to increase the loyalty here by 50. So he's going to be in the green on both sides. And this task here is the German actress that had given us some money. So actually we're going to need to probably go to the story workshop again and write another movie with the lead being a female because she wants a lead role. All right, so here we go. So 350 screenings, 74%. So we did pretty good there, and we are making money now on this movie. So at the end here of week 8, we'll go ahead and end that distribution. We'll be about 10 days out before another movie hits. And we'll end that distribution. Another profitable movie. We got a little longer than I thought. All right, so this was the low level movie. It was a 3.9. Well, pre-production took it up to a 4.8, so that's a pretty good jump. but the 3-1 only went up to a 3-4. So we got everything right. It's just not a very good movie to start. So we've got a couple scripts that are going to be finishing up here that we can get into pre-production. We've got one that's going to end up in theaters here very, very soon. And here we go. All right, Adventuresome. Oh, this is a script. This was the script that we chose. Okay, so this is a 7-0 script across the board. So we're going to need to get this into production right away. I mean, we have the people to do it. All right, so we just got 7-3 cinematographer, so we're going to grab him for sure. He likes to shoot outdoors. All right, basically two stars everywhere except for the original. All right, we're going to give eye props, plenty of crew, and our only 7.5 or 7.0 or higher producer. He's a 9.0. We're going to use him, I think, on this one. And use him, use her. Let's use him for that. So our lowest level actor in this movie is a 6.9. All right, we're going to release this film, Edge of the Seat, another B. Songwriter gave it 1 star, so others are going to give it, well, I was expecting 3s actually on that, but well. All right, nobody leveled up. Everybody got experience, but nobody leveled up. And that one is in theaters now. And we're basically hitting $750,000 in the bank. Okay, so this is our legal executive. And I am going to extend. I am going to pay him $1,700 a month because I know what happens if I don't. Another script was written. Not a great one. So we're going to shelve that for now because we may send that to the script doctor in a minute. Thomas Crawford got sunstruck and started thinking he was a real cowboy. He was telling everyone in graphic detail brutally killing the Indians. His story scared the whole crew. Now what we need to do is we need to figure out what we want to do here with regards to who do we upset more? Do we upset the film crew by let the idiot tell any story he wants? Someone has to tell him he's not a real cowboy. That it decreases his happiness by 30 and it lowers the quality of the film. Or we stop filming and get the actor to the hospital. That decreases his happiness by 40. It decreases his loyalty by 40 and filming will stop for 10 days. So these two are going to have an impact on the film. For sure. This one as well, because the filming is going to stop and it's going to lower his happiness and loyalty. I think the only thing we have to do here, I think the only thing we can do here is to upset the film crew and keep the filming going. Because we're going to need to, well, actually, I probably could have stopped the filming, right? Because we've got enough movies up here in post-production to continue to feed this pipeline here that we probably didn't need to do that. All right, so we got 100% attendance first week. Edge of the Seat, not surprising. See how well it does. The Sheriff Must Intervene is about done and ready. Distribution. Let's see where we do anything to it. We kept it a 7 there and we lowered it again to a 6.4 post-production. So unfortunately, probably due to this composer here, if I were to guess. And let's choose that movie poster. And let's do this. for the first time here. Let's rent another 1,000 screens the first week, and then we'll take off the 1,000 screens the second week, and we'll just go with our screens, and then we'll lower our screens each subsequent week, and we'll see how that goes. Maybe that'll get us enough. All right. So we really need to get some money in the bank. We're down below $500,000. All right, let's get the editor back on this. And this is another 58 days, 54 days. So that one's ready. Yeah, we didn't drop attendance percentage-wise. We dropped the screenings, though, right? We dropped almost 900 screenings. So this is the old microphone. It's going to end its service in 180 days. That's why I bought the other new mic when it came out. And this episode's we're getting a little long in the tooth here on the timing on this. So we did drop a little bit there. I know that we're going to make money with that movie, but we're going to have to extend it because there's another 30-day wait for this one to get out. Speed this up a little bit here. This is the end of this one, 68%. So we're going to set up distribution here and go 500 theaters, 350, 250, and 100 screens. This basically puts us right, and you can see it right here with the sheriff must intervene. We're going to extend the ad run for another 3 weeks into that 4-week run. We have a new story element, charismatic criminal. We may have to do something with that. We may have to actually use that to get our German female lead. 34,000 for 3 movies, just a little over 11,000 a movie, and he's a 6.0 director, so we're going to assign him for another 3 movies. Yeah, I can't, you're good, but I can't afford you there. So rings on every finger, so this will be the last thing we do here today in this episode. Took this from a 6.3 up to a 6.5. We'll boosted it there, and a 6.0 to a 6.3. So we're going to send this to post, and that's where it will stay until next episode. Let everyone get their experience. So this actor got a new level. He's now a level 9. He's a 9 out of 10. And we don't have an editor. So now we've got 2 films up here waiting, another 49 days for that one to go. And security upgraded to the accelerated training. 1,500 days, 1,200 days, 1,500 days, or 1,200 days. Or we could get into this hero stuff over here. Let's do that. And we'll let this second week come out before we... All right. So this is where we'll stop. This, we dropped down to 500 screenings. So this is basically the second run of this movie. Got 100% again, so we did good there. We're making profit on the movie, so we'll end up with some profit. We're sitting at 863,000 in the bank. We've got several movies in post-production. We've got a couple of editors in film school, and I think for now we'll end this episode. I'm going to Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment below. And I do again apologize for the inconsistency between the two episodes here. Again, it was a housekeeping error and it was on my end. I do apologize for some of that inconsistency piece. Hope to see you guys again in the next episode. Thanks for watching. See you next time.